Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform whatsoever. Reach out to tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing an early example of a watch launched in 2005. This is the Patek Philippe 5146 1G-010 annual calendar Moonphase. So the watch on our rare full factory bracelet is white gold. It's 39 millimeters in diameter by 11.4 millimeters thick. If we measure just the lugs, the lug-to-lug dimension is 46.8 millimeters. It is 48.8 millimeters from end link to end link, and the spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters. Now we're going to throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. It does wear larger with the bracelet, but not much larger. I can still recommend this watch to a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Again, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. It slides easily under a cuff, sloped bezel, flat profile, easy to do. You can see down the barrel, it wears quite nicely. And I would even go so far as to say that if you put it on a strap, you could probably wear it on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. But there's a nice counterweighting quality to the bracelet with the clasp. If you like to wear your watch loose, a bracelet's the better way to do it, because a watch head counterweighted by a clasp and a strap isn't always anchored well. Whereas with the bracelet, you have an even distribution of mass all the way around, so a loose watch doesn't want a hula hoop on the wrist. Now, taking a quick look, you can see that the buckle is a double deployant made of white gold. Close it up. We have a locking mechanism with a Calatrava cross on the top. And this is gray gold, like the rest of the watch. The bracelet, the case, and the clasp, all gray gold. A white alloy, 18 karat, that's white all the way through and never needs to be rhodium plated. Gray gold is the good stuff. It's what you want to see on an expensive watch. Now, unlike modern day, that is roughly post-2011 Patek bracelets, this one features removable links fixed by screws. That's the way it should be done. Patek today uses pin sleeves, which was a retrograde move. We have relatively robust links, but you can see that they're short in profile, giving this dressy bracelet a nice silky feel on the wrist. And yet, because of the big calculated gaps between links, it won't pinch skin, pull hair, or trap wrist heat. The case is relatively simple. You can see integrated lug profiles, all of high polish, blended and tapered. We have a domed bezel that's slightly inset from the case band to create the look of a thinner watch. We have a crown that's slightly sunken in profile, so it's less of a protuberance, and then you can see little pusher correctors that are used to make adjustments to the individual calendar registers on the dial. Now, surprisingly, for a dress watch, this is a pretty well-loomed timepiece, so you can read it at night. It's designed to be everyday wearable. It's not something you take out just for the trip to the opera. The dial is a metallic sunburst in ruthenium anthracite. We have sub-registers for the day and the month. We have a Moonphase in crescent style and then an aperture style date down at 6 o'clock. There's a power reserve indicator up at the top of the dial. We have polished and applied white gold dart style indices and tri-Arabic numerals with a railroad track outboard for reading minutes and seconds. We have foy or leaf style hour and minute hands. You can see we also have a foy style power reserve indicator. When fully wound, whether by automatic or manual means, again, we'll have a 45-hour power reserve, and the Lancet style seconds hand is counterweighted and black polished. Now, being an annual calendar, it only needs to be adjusted once during the jump from February to March. This is Patek's original innovation, designed to give you more sophistication than a simple calendar without the expense, fragility, and service costs of a true perpetual. Now, it came out in 1996, and this watch is part of a series that started with the reference 5035 of that year. Turn it all over, and we have caliber 315. It is a center rotor automatic with a 45-hour power reserve. The main difference between this and the later 324 is that this has a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour, whereas the later movement was at 4 hertz or 8 beats per second. This is 3 hertz or 6 beats per second. Geneva hallmark, this is something that went away mid-2009. You can tell that this is a very early example of the 5146 because it's Geneva hallmark on the movement and it's caliber 315 rather than the 324 that started to phase in 2006. The watch includes engine turning on the center of the rotor as well as on the base plate in several different sizes, circular and linear Côte de Genève, mirrored anglage on the edge of the bridges, as well as polished jewel and screw countersinks. And we have satination on the wheels and black polished screw heads, and the screws themselves have chamfered slots and circumference. You can see the beveling on the edge of the bridges quite nicely laid out. And then we have a free-sprung style gyromax balance that is adjusted in 5 positions. And we have a 36 jewel movement. The Gyromax balance is a long-running Patek Philippe mechanical engineering legacy. Designed in the late 40s, implemented in the early 1950s, it was one of the first free-sprung architectures in the industry, and it's still used today. It helps to make the movement easier to adjust precisely and more resilient against shocks. The entire case for this rather sporty dress watch is 30 meters water-resistant. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.